Hi, boys and girls. Today we are going to be looking at three-digit addition. So I want you to look at these two numbers on your screen. And it says 215 plus 382. So solve this any way that you know. Pause the video and solve this using any strategy or any way that you know. Okay, now that we're back, let's solve it together. I'm going to use the standard way that we've been using, where I just add going down. So we've got 7, 9, and 5. So 5 plus 2 is 7, 1 plus 8 is 9, and 2 plus 3 is 5. Perfect. Okay, let's go to our next slide. Adding three-digit numbers, partial sums. Today we're going to be looking at a different strategy that teaches us a new way to add three-digit numbers. Let's look at our learning target. This says I can explain how to add three-digit numbers. And when I say explain, I mean that we're going to be making something more clear and easy to understand. We're going to be explaining it, which means describing it in more detail. So we're going to be explaining how to solve three-digit addition using a new strategy. I want you to think about this. What is place value? And place value is the value assigned to a digit based on its position in a number. So let's look at the number 532. Let's look at the 5. What's the place value of the 5? That's right, 500. And what's the place value of the 3? That's right, the tens. So 3 tens is 30. So 30 is for tens, and let's look at the 2. The 2, that's right, there's 2 ones. Now, what is partial sums? This is something that we haven't talked about before. Partial sums are the sums that you get in each step of the partial sums strategy, using place value to find the partial sums. So when I talk about that, when we are using partial sums, we are going to be adding. So we do this. We do 500 plus 30 plus 2. Using the partial sum strategy, we just break apart the number into its different place values. So we have 5 for 500, 3 for 3 tens, which is 30, and 2 ones. Let's look at our story problem. On Monday, Brinley went to the store. She bought 317 chocolate bars. She went back on Tuesday and bought 134 more. How many chocolate bars did she buy in all? Let's look at these questions. What is this problem about? I want you to take a second, pause the video, and think about what this story problem is about. That's right. It's about finding how many chocolate bars Brinley bought. The second question, what are you trying to find out? Well, we are trying to find the total number of chocolate bars. And the last question, what information is important? That's right. In all tells us that we need to add, so that's important. And also these two numbers, 317 and 134. That's all we need to know, is we need to add those two numbers. Now, how do we do that using the partial sum strategy? Well, we can do this. We have 317 plus 134. Now, using the partial sums, we need to break this apart by using the different place values that we know. So what's the place value of the 3? That's right, it's in the hundreds, so we have 300. And what's the place value of the 1? That's right, it's in the hundreds, so we have 100. Now what about this one? What's the place value? That's right, it's in the tens, so we have 110. What's the place value of the 3? That's right, we have 3 tens, which is 30. Now this one I know you can all do. What is the value of the 7? That's right, 7 ones, and the value of the 4 is 4 ones. So now we can go across and we can add. This makes it easier for us to add the number together. So we have 400 plus 40 plus 11. So now my answer, I have 440 plus 11. Oh, I see that there's an 11. How can I add 440 plus 11? Well, one way that I can do it is I can regroup. So I know, or I can break it apart. So regrouping just means to put together or break apart ones, tens, and hundreds. So I can take this 11, and I know that 10 plus 1 equals 11. So I can do 440 plus 10 plus 1. That gives me 450 plus 1, and I get 451. And that is how you use the partial sum strategy. That is how you break numbers apart by their place value to add them together. I want you to take a quick second, and we are going to look at base 10 blocks. We're going to see how these two numbers look when we add them together using these tools. So here I have 314. I have 300s for 300 and 110 and 7 1. So I have 317, and I have 100 over here, and I have 3 10s for 30 and 4 1s for, and this makes 134. And this is 317. So I just broke it apart by hundreds, tens, and ones. Now let's see what happens when we add these together. How can we add these together? Watch this. We're going to use this tool and we're going to combine them. So let's see what we have now. I have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 hundreds. So that gets 400. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 tens. Oh, well, look how many ones I have. Maybe I could combine the ones. I can regroup them and add them together to make another 10. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's circle those. And you know what we can do? We can trade those for another 10 block. So now let's count. How many 10s do we have? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 10s, and that is 50. And I have 1 1. So we have 400 plus 50 plus 1. So I have 451. And that's just how we use it using the base 10 blocks. Here are some questions I want you to think about. What was it that we were working on today? That's right, we were adding 3-digit numbers using partial sum strategy. We were using a new strategy that broke apart the number by their place value and just made it a little bit more simple for us to see how the numbers added together by their place values. And when we were explaining, that means we were making it more clear and easy to understand by describing it in more detail. So when I explained the partial sum strategy, I was making it more clear and easy to understand because I was describing it in more detail. And why do we practice multiple strategies for addition? Well, we find ways that work for us, and that gives us options. Because if one way it doesn't work for you, then you know you have another way to try and solve it. Okay, boys and girls, I'll see you soon.